From the crossroads of entertainment and culture, to the stories that move the streets and shake the box office. This is Blues Nightly News, the world of movies, music, comics, and culture, the way it really is.
Yo, what up, What's going on, everybody? What up? Welcome to the show, man. Oh, man, the only show on earth to know that it's smart enough to know when it's done, man. You know who I am. I am Blue Minotti, and this is the 5 o'clock section of Blues News, I guess you want to say it, man. I just want to do something because we will be having Blurred AF later on tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So get ready for that too. But I just wanted to talk about that, man. Just wanted to get into this subject right here. Um, I see everybody in the chat. What's good, everybody in the chat, man. I want y'all to get comfortable, get you a drink, hit that subscribe button if you new here. You know what I'm saying? Because I think this is a good one to talk about. I think this is hopefully gain more traction. You know what I'm saying? I know this might be a little bit outside of the norm for what I normally talk about, but I think this is a good subject to try to bring awareness and attention to, because we kind of bring this stuff on ourselves. You know what I'm saying? But seems like the entire podcast world is at war with each other. We got beef, and it's just not regular beef, ladies and gentlemen. This is just that good old intellectual beef. Yeah, I love that intellectual beef, man. I love that intellectual beef, man. I love it. This beef is with a minor in psychology and a subscription to like the New Yorker or something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I actually really dislike what happened with this whole altercation. I really dislike it, man. But either way, with me disliking, I still try to prepare myself. Went to Barnes and Noble, bought me a thesaurus. You know what I'm saying? Renewed my library card. You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like we got a big words war. That's where this whole thing started, and it snowballed into something bigger than it should have. Things was taken out of context, man. It gets crazy out there. When the Starbucks asked for a venti, the guy behind me said, "Whoa, relax, dude. It's called a large." you know. But nah, seriously, man. This debate has taken over my timeline. I don't know about y'all, but it's taken over my timeline, my YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, things of that nature. Everybody's really talking about this. And I want to say I don't want to say it's a battle of the Titans, because one podcast is bigger than the other. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna still say it's a battle of the Titans. In one corner, you got the culture behemoth, which is the Joe Budden podcast, the JBP. Salute to the JBP. And then the other, you got a political and cultural heavyweight, which is the Native Land podcast, which hosts the likes of Angela Rye, Tiffany Cross, what's my man from Andrew Gillum, and Bakari Sims. I think it's Bakari Sims. So this is kind of like a Godzilla versus King Kong situation. You know what I'm saying? Both of them have really successful podcasts. One is upper echelon to me, but still big podcast. You know what I'm saying? And I rock with both. I really do. I rock with both. I like the Native Land podcast. I like you know what I'm saying? Andrew Gillum has a place to really speak on, because I think he was ostracized after they set him up to fail. You know what I'm saying? I think they set my man up, but that's, neither here nor there. But man, let's set this stage. So Angela Rye, Tiffany Cross, like I said, they're on the Native Land podcast, and they said some things about what happened on the Joe Budden podcast in regards to the homie Marc Lamont Hill, which I've met. What's up, Dr. Marc Lamont Hill, and Queen's Flip. And if y'all are avid listeners or avid watchers of the JBP, y'all know how it gets up there. You know what I'm saying? With those, with the host, the co-host, and everything like that. But I'm gonna just play this clip. Let me play this clip. That way we can just preface it like that. Let me play this clip so y'all can get the full context of everything to do
this. I don't know. Do you have any reason to think I do that? Is what I said.
Because you just said that. You said you cracking a joke with Joe. Like, oh,
Did you crack a joke with Joe?
I don't know. Listen, what I'm trying to tell you.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Listen, what I'm trying to tell you.
I think the people need to see this show.
Hey, you got.
Hey,
guess what? It's going out.
It's going out.
What's the difference between what we did last week?
Just want to care about what people shouldn't see, then shut up.
Then don't say
this
it. Right.
Is going out.
I'm comfortable with everything I'm saying.
Okay. This is going right out.
I love you, Flip.
I love you too.
FedEx too.
But no, I don't backbite. Hey, as a matter of fact,
next to it, separate shit.
UPS, here's the tracking link.
As a matter of fact, you know I don't, because whatever you've ever told me, you know ain't never come out, and whatever ever happened that I witnessed to, I ain't never said shit about.
Yeah,
like even when that,
we kept your secrets, nigga.
I'm not gonna say it because then I have to say
we kept your secrets.
That's all I'm gonna say.
What secrets?
And can't nobody up here say nothing different.
What secrets?
We kept your secrets, boy.
What secrets?
We know your secrets.
I'll tell you.
I'm showing y'all this so y'all can get the full context of two men up here having a conversation, regardless of the education level of Dr. Marc Lamont Hill and Queen's Flip. It's just two men up here having a conversation, and it's going to take a turn. It's going to take a little turn, but it was just a conversation between two men. That's why I want to show y'all this video first, so y'all can see everything.
Glued to it on
That's
I don't move
right.
that way.
See, this is loyal.
That's not loyal.
Not that shit you do. This lawyer ain't gonna blow you up in front of millions, nigga.
Please, you talking about?
No, and to be clear for the ones, it ain't nothing personal with it. Ain't about Flip's personal life. I don't want to make it sound like that because I want people to think.
Oh, you talking about anything that I tell you, niggas? Anything that happened, I can talk about.
And it's for you to talk about. What I'm saying, I won't.
So anything that
I'm saying, I won't.
So if you
What up,
allow
Jay?
to it, because you say a lot of tricky words.
No, I don't. I
So
say regular
be
words
direct.
that's tricky to you.
Tricky words,
you can
funny
do-
as
that's
shit.
that's another thing you do, right? Like, my nigga.
So that was a big contention on the Native Land podcast. Flip says you say a lot of tricky words. Marc Lamont Hill, so no, I don't say a lot of tricky words. They're just tricky to you. Right? And Flip, not, you know what I'm saying, not being as well learned or well read as Marc Lamont Hill. Yeah, he's saying, man, you saying a lot of tricky words. It's, you know what I'm saying, I'm up here, you can dumb it down a little bit. But at the same time, Marc Lamont Hill being in it, and look, when you're an intellectual, you sometimes you be an asshole because it's like, nah, this is just my regular diction. This is just how I talk. So yeah, it's tricky to you, right? So I'm just showing you where the blow up is about to happen, right?
You the busiest man in the world. You spend 1,000 hours trying to communicate and speak to people to be accepted
That's
by
our
people
job.
that this community, that this nigga built through the community. I don't need to do
That's
that.
our
my
job.
nigga. I believe in myself.
That's
and I believe
our
in what I do.
job.
No, our job is to come up here and work and show and put our best foot forward.
And that's what I do.
That's our job. And plus, do other shit behind the scenes.
You mean
to
like
try
promote the show?
To try to win favor. You try to win favors.
You mean
nigga.
like fan
In what
engagement?
way, though?
You try
In
to
what
win
way?
favors.
All right, you're
period.
right.
To me, you try to win favors.
With the fans?
And then on
In
top of
what
that, even
way?
if you do win
They're the
favors,
fans, they're
even,
our
let me
audience,
finish.
Flip.
Even if you do win favors, you try to point out everything else that nobody do. That's sucker shit to me.
When do I do
Hold
that?
up.
You try to point
Yo,
out.
don't call me a sucker no more. Yo, don't call me a sucker no more. Don't call me a sucker no
Nobody's
more.
gonna do that for
Don't
you.
call me a sucker no more.
Nobody- that's
Don't
sucker
call me a
shit.
sucker no more.
That's sucker
Yo, Flip,
shit. I'm not calling you.
Fuck
I'm
you
saying
then.
that's sucker shit. I can take that. I'm not calling you. I'm saying that's sucker shit. You're not a sucker, but that's
And I'm
sucker
telling you,
shit.
you say that sucker shit, I take it like you saying it to me. So I'm saying,
What I'm saying.
So that's the big blow up.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
This is the big blow up right here.
No.
Stop doing that.
Marc Lamont, see, the thing is, and I'm gonna transition it over to the Native Land podcast. It's really two of the two female hosts on there, and I'm not trying to make this a male-female thing, but the two female hosts in there on the Native Land podcast, which is Tiff and Angela, they see this differently. They see this like, oh, Marc Lamont Hill shouldn't even be on that show. Marc Lamont Hill, I think, is from like North Philly. I think Marc Lamont Hill is like from North Philly. Queens Flip is from Queens. These is, regardless of where Marc Lamont Hill went to school at, he's still from where he's from. He still is from where he's from. So yeah, he like, don't call me no sucker. Don't say sucker shit. Don't do that. That might be a trigger for Marc. Flip saying, nah, that's some sucker shit. And what Marc has done to Flip was a trigger for him. So that's just two men who having a discussion, right? I want y'all to hey, I'm coming blurred AF later on tonight, but I'm trying to give y'all just trying to do a little extra, do a little more. But yeah, so Mark and Flip, they just got into a little war of words on the JBP. So I want to preface that so y'all can see how that is going, because watching that, I don't think anybody on that couch, on that show, looked at like, oh, it's about to be some hands throwing, or don't nobody respect anybody, or oh, this is ghetto, or this is hood. This was just two men talking. This is how men talk. This is how people talk sometimes. It ain't just men. This is how people talk sometimes. Right? So when that happens, Angela Rye, the Native Land Podcast, and I hate the way they did that. I hate the way because they preference their podcast with using the Joe, but they called it Joe Budden's they preference their own podcast, Native Land, Joe Budden Podcast, and the Dumbing Down of America. Joe Budden's podcast and the Dumbing Down of America. Right? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Right? Flip said, hey, you using big words, man. You know what I'm saying? He looked at Marc Lamont. Hey, you using big words, yada, yada, yada. We know Marc Lamont Hill is a doctor. And he was just trying to have a nuanced conversation. And he just used big words. And sometimes you just use big words. And if you can't, you know what I'm saying? Flip might have felt small in that moment. But Flip was like, nah, I don't like that you use big words, because it seemed like you only use that to make me feel small. I get Flip and Marc Lamont Hill. I think they both have valid points in that. I ain't using tricky words. They just tricky to you. Right? And that's something that is some asshole shit to say, but it ain't like it ain't true. Right? So this clip that I just showed you went viral. Flipping and Marc Lamont Hill came, the Native Land Podcast pulled it out of the algorithm and preferenced their whole podcast around this clip. All because they know who Marc Lamont Hill, because Dr. Marc Lamont Hill, Angela Rye, Tiff, and all of them, they friends because they run in similar circles. But you don't even watch the JBP. It's not a show that you watch. You don't watch it. So why even speak on something that you don't watch? You see a clip and you see your homeboy in it, and now you want to preference your whole podcast around it? I think that's disingenuous. And the way that you preferenced it, the Joe Budden Podcast and the Dumbing Down of America. Joe Budden has like the top, is like the top podcast in urban spaces. The top. And you shouldn't change your vernacular, or your diction or however you talk just to please anyone. I'm just saying, also don't do it just to be an asshole. That's all. Because the thing is, and that's why I said I see both sides. I see Flip side. Flip, you know what I'm saying? Flip is not I wouldn't say he's the most learned guy when it comes to words. But at the same time, Mark knew what he was doing. If you watch the Joe Budden Podcast, that's Mark's thing. He gonna figure out a way to get up under your skin just a little bit. Not in disrespect, but more so in fun. I'm gonna figure out how to rile you up. I'm like that too sometimes. I can do that. Being, you know what I'm saying, being a person well-traveled, I got a little education in me too. You know what I'm saying? I like big words myself sometimes. Especially if I know that I can rile you up a little bit. And that is a little assholish. That's all I'm saying. But because they took Mark's side in this. Like Mark didn't instigate this whole thing. If you watch, and that's what I'm saying, they don't know the dynamic of the people on the show. They don't know nothing. They think Mark, he shouldn't be there. No, Mark is there because that's where he want to be. That's where he want to be. So I want to play what Angela Rye them said in regards to this. 1 second. So this is Tiff. Let me show y'all Tiff. Shit. I can't do that. Doing the wrong thing. I'm tripping. So this is Tiff.
Behavior, which brings me to a clip that went.
Hold on, let me run that back.
We can adopt.
Because it's not just that they speak about.
And sometimes we can adopt the oppressor's behavior, which brings me to a clip that went viral this week. And that is, of course,
her saying that we adopt the oppressor's behavior is nuts. That is wild. From that clip, if you watch this whole Native Land podcast, which I did, but I'm only clipping it up. She says she don't even watch the show. She says she don't even watch the show.
Of our friend and brother, Marc Lamont Hill. This happened on the Joe Budden broadcast this week. To me, it was clear that his co-host felt small. And, you know, even him saying you use tricky words and Mark responding with, I use words that are tricky to you. And anytime somebody, I think, cannot take to be questioned or responds with a full temper tantrum, it is always about that other person, not about, like, it wasn't Mark. He didn't do anything. And if someone is.
See, I don't like her saying that. It wasn't Mark. He didn't do anything. Yes, the fuck he did. Mark knew exactly what he was doing. Mark do that all the time. You taking up for Mark because that's your homeboy, but you ain't watched the show. You don't know the dynamic between Mark and Flip. Hell, you don't know the dynamic between Mark and any of them co-hosts up there. You just taking this man's side, talking, oh, Flip shouldn't have reacted the way he did. He reacted the way he did because he know Mark is being an asshole. That's why.
It's so small that you can't articulate your point without throwing a temper tantrum or insulting another person. I'm happy that Mark showed both sides, that yes, I'm an intellectual, but don't get up in the studio, you know? And I think it's important for people to see that, yes, you can still be an intellectual and demand your respect. That doesn't make you soft.
So it's crazy. Like, all the taking up for Mark is wild to me. I don't get this. How do you take up, you know what I'm saying? Like, the dude basically Flip was trying to have a conversation. Just a regular conversation. Hey man, seemed like you do a lot up here because you know you smart. So it seemed like you do a lot. That's what the whole conversation was about. Not only did he kind of look at Flip like, yeah, that's what which Mark is right. Yeah, that's what we're supposed to do for the fans and for the people who watching the show. I'm supposed to put the 2 on the 10. I get all that. Flip is saying, well, you know what I'm saying, but you're doing that at the behest of us. Like, you're doing that by making me look small or making me look like I'm dumb. Like, you're doing that on purpose. You're not doing that just because. You ain't got to make me look stupid in the interim of you doing that. And I feel, Flip, you ain't got to make me look stupid because we know you smart, Mark. And then Smart come with, oh, I don't use tricky words. They just tricky to you. Man, I'll slap the shit out of you, Mark. Like, yeah, it got a little heated. And Mark was like, well, we can step outside. Because that's what she's saying. I didn't show y'all the whole clip, but Mark was like, well, we can step outside, Flip. And, you know, Mark brought it back down. Hold on, let's just bring it back down, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, Mark, you started this shit. You the disrespectful dude up here because you smart. Just you having an education, you being smart, you being well-read, well-versed or whatever, don't give you the right to down somebody. Right? Now, you don't have to change your diction. I agree. You don't have to change your diction or whatever. But you know the reason why you're doing that. You know the reason why you're doing that. You know exactly why you're doing that. Let me show y'all some more. Let me show y'all what Angela had to say. Let me get to her real quick.
in this exchange. I take great issue with that podcast and its treatment of Marc.
Hold on, let me run it back.
In this exchange, I take great issue with that podcast and its treatment of Marc. And I was wondering when he was gonna snap.
She said she take great issue with that podcast and treatment of Marc. How they not? Marc is on the Joe Budden podcast. Joe Budden put him on a spinoff show, the Marc and Ian show. How are they treating Marc bad? Show me where they treat Marc bad at, Angela. This ain't the show for him to get up there and go crazy intellectual. That ain't this. They let him get in his bag at times, but he ain't got to be the super duper intellect. This is the spot where he can just, take his hat off, kick his shoes off, and just chill with the homies and talk shit. How do you not understand that? Marc got his own show on his own channel called Night School. You want to see Marc get in his bag? Go to his school. Go to his channel and listen to Night School. That's what Marc getting his intellectual bag at. On the Joe Budden podcast, that's where he kick his shoes off. That's where he in the barbershop. That's where he's sitting on the stoop. That's where he on the patio. Beer in hand. Or drink in hand or whatever. And just kicking it with the homies.
Yeah. There's another clip that I don't know if you all saw where Marc announces very vulnerably that he's lost almost all of his colleagues that were reporting in Gaza. And by lost, I mean they are killed. They died in their reporting and trying to be courageous for their people.
And see, this clip that she's about to play, she's absolutely right. Marc got up there and said what he said. We'll listen to the clip.
Then around the world, we're seeing violence everywhere, including Gaza, where I work for Al Jazeera. My colleagues, every colleague I have in Gaza has been murdered. Mm-hmm. Every single colleague I have in Gaza.
This is him on this. Not that same episode, but this is just this is a couple episodes prior. He was talking about because he also does work on Al Jazeera, but he was talking about his colleagues who been reporting over there in Gaza and everything like that, Palestine. He's saying how a lot of his colleagues have passed, right? Keep listening.
Been murdered. So we got a lot of work to do, a lot of stuff to pay attention to.
That's pretty good.
All right, Young Thug dissed
So as you see, that was a bad transition by Joe Budden to keep it moving. Like that was a bad transition. They didn't sit for a second. Bad transition. Bad, horrible.
Yeah, every time he do that shit.
He do it so fast. So you gotta
everybody know in Gaza is like,
oh my colleague.
God damn, he doing it again. That nigga Marc, boy. Why you don't never support him when he start talking that shit? You support him very well, Pizza.
He has my full support, but I also know that once he says something like that, or we discuss something like that, then we're just like, okay, what's the fucking pivot? What's the
they're even acknowledging on the show right then and there that it's hard to pivot from something. Joe Budden podcast is not like a hard chart. You know what I'm saying? It's lighthearted. So when something real heavy like that comes, how do you pivot into Young Thug? You know what I'm saying? How do you make that? That's a hard pivot. That's a real hard pivot. And they are acknowledging how hard it is to pivot from something as heavy and hard as that into talking about Young Thug. They are an entertainment podcast. They're not a political podcast. They don't even try to be political. Most of the time, they brought Marc on there to help them with certain political things if it just comes up, because, certain things you just can't escape. And they don't want to feel like they don't know how to, talk and everything like that. But it's hard to pivot from something. Imagine us on Blur AF and Mika or Dre is talking real hard on something. And then we got to go to the next subject, and it's Kevin Feige. Or, Bo DeMaio. Like, what? That is a hard pivot to do. And they acknowledged it right here.
Pivot after we talk about every journalist on the Gaza Strip being murdered. Like, what's the pivot?
So Young Thug
there we go.
appeared on Little Baby's project.
Quite the project.
Sharing vulnerably,
and Mark know that it's a hard pivot. Mark know that's a hard pivot, man. That is a hard pivot. Now they don't have commercial. This is straight through. They don't have commercial. They do have ad reads, but I think the ad read had already happened. They only have one ad read, and I think it already happened if I remember correctly. This was a little bit later into because I remember that podcast. It was a little bit later, but it's really hard to do that. It's really hard to do that. You can, but like they're not. That's not how the podcast has been working. You know what I'm saying? So it's really hard to figure out how to put a designated pause in there. So what happened, and this is how you know Angela Rye does not, she don't watch the podcast. She's just picking and choosing. The next podcast, they came up there and apologized not only to the families of those Gazan reporters who reported out in Gaza who had passed. They apologized to Mark. They apologized to the listeners, and they said, "Hey, look, it's hard for us to really make that pivot. That's not how we do. You know what I'm saying? We're learning. We're taking y'all feedback. Y'all said that, hey, man, that was a little harsh on how y'all did that, and they came and they apologized for that. Is Angela Rye saying, hey, these guys apologized? They came back and apologized to Mark and the listeners and the families of the Gazan reporters? No, she's just picking and choosing because she want to put Mark in this high space. Like Mark is better than them. Angela, Mark ain't better than them. Just because you got a doctorate don't make you better than me. Just because you went to school don't make you better than me. It don't.
Lost all his people. And Joe Budden's transition, not this other guy, I don't know everybody's name, but not this other guy. Joe Budden's transition is like, and Young Thug, like just no mention of like, are you okay? Yeah. How do you feel? Who was?
Because they know how the thing, Angela, baby. They know how Mark feel already. Dudes, look, if my homeboy came in and said that, I don't need to ask him how you feel. I already know. We already have. See, and I don't want to make this a male-female thing, but they always talk about vulnerability, males being vulnerable. I know my homeboy. I know my co-worker. Mark and Joe has been friends for a while now. He's been on the show at least, you know what I'm saying, for some time now. They joke, they laugh. Joe and Mark, they have a rapport. They know if he's okay. He went up there crying. He went up there trying to sound sad or get sympathy from them. He was just saying how bad Gaza is. If Gaza is so bad that he's lost people in Gaza. That's all he was. That was the point he was trying to purvey, Angela. He wasn't trying to garner attention. Angela, you missed the whole point of what Mark was saying. He was just trying to say how bad it is in Gaza. How you miss that? Oh, he's up there being vulnerable. That wasn't him being vulnerable. That was him reporting on what's going on in Gaza. And he just so happened to know the people who are over there reporting in Gaza.
Lost this week. How did they die? Just like nothing. So 2 tips point around curiosity. If you can't find curiosity, find sympathy. If you can't find sympathy, find empathy. If you can't find empathy, find compassion. Because if you don't, the person who is in a constant state of grief, at some point that grief.
How would you act like you know this man is in a constant? Who said he was in grief? That he was grieving? Did he say he was grieving? He did not. He didn't say he was grieving. In a constant state of grief. Mark ain't in no constant state of grief.
It turns to rage because there's not a safe container for it. So we say on this show, welcome home, and we mean that. Of course, Mark is welcome anytime. I don't know about the rest of them. So I just want.
So why is Mark welcome, but nobody else is welcome? Mark the only one who welcome on the name. If it's come home, shouldn't everybody be allowed to come home? Mark is welcome, but I don't know about the rest of y'all. What? What kind of bullshit is that? Why? Because he's Dr. Marc Lamont Hill. That's why. On the JBP, he Dark Lamont Hill. That's what they call him. He Marc Lamont Hill. He Mark. He ain't Dr. Mark. I mean, they respect his credentials and stuff, but he's just the homie on the JBP. He just the homie. He not there for going crazy with the intellectual stuff, the political stuff. He not there for that. He there to smooth it over a little bit if it come out, but he not there for that. And that's how I know you don't watch the show. That's how I know.
Mark, I'm praying for you, brother. You know that. And I want better for him. I think that he deserves to hold space with people who are at least more compassionate and more eager to learn from his perspective.
Now, I think it's real.
That's crazy. That is, for her to say that is horrible. Especially and you have never watched the show. You don't know the dynamic. You don't know the dynamic. To me, that's nuts, man. Mark grown. He know what he got into. Mark is grown, man. Mark is hella grown. He know exactly what he got into. You know what I'm saying? The anti-intellectual conversation of this is what's in demand. The talk, Queen's Flip wanted Mark to talk normal. The nuanced conversations might be getting shut down due to, I don't know if it's getting shut down through the Mark or Flip. That's some things that they had to address. Flip was I don't think anybody was uncomfortable in that situation. But the Native Land, one thing now, watching the Native Land podcast, Andrew Gillum said, hey, look, I've never watched that show. Based on this clip, I don't know if I will watch the show. This is why I respect what Andrew Gillum said. He said, based on that clip, I don't know if I watch that show. And he said, I've never watched it. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that show is not like that 24/7. It's not like that all the time. He said, I want to give them the space to do whatever that they need to do. That's how you approach that situation. You approach that situation like that. Those are two men talking. I don't, hopefully they got the, that's not how the show is every day. And like you said, Mark is grown. Mark is grown. I think Native Land, I think Angela Rye and Tiff, I think they being elitist. I think they looking down on Joe Budden, which is one of the most successful black platforms in the world, independent, and trying to correct them because their homie Mark, Dr. Marc Lamont Hill, is over there on that show. JBP is an entertainment podcast prefaced around the homies just sitting around shooting the shit. This ain't CNN. It ain't Fox, MSNBC. It ain't none of that. It's just the homies sitting around shooting the shit on current events, some things that's happening. That's it. Just regular, everyday, regular Joe talk. Now let's get into what because Joe Budden came, he was gonna come back with the ire. If y'all know Joe Budden gonna get in his bag and let's get into what Joe Budden said. Because I like what Joe Budden said. Let's get into what Joe Budden said. How can I do this? Let me see. Make this bigger. All right.
Quote unquote intellectuals seem to be pulling a lot from places that, again, like it said, you admittedly know very little about. It just comes off a way.
Yeah,
it comes off a way.
It's like if you put,
especially when you pretending especially when you pretending to do all of this super black kumbaya shit. I got a problem with that too. I got a problem with the people that masquerade as kumbaya, super black, all for the people, and will be the first one to tell you how we're different. I come on here every week and say we're less different than we are alike. We just got different ideologies. But I'm not going to keep listening to people who in 25 years, I've never said the name Angela Rye. I don't give a fuck about nothing y'all talking about over there. I'm saying that respectfully. I don't come on here and say a word about any of that shit. I expect reciprocity. You could have titled that clip totally different.
That's true.
Don't claim to be super pro-black and then take the #1 black urban podcast and put that type of stink on it because you think you got a friend over here. That don't give you a license.
I don't think it's that. I don't think if Mark was here or not. I think
if Mark was here, they would never have those conversations.
No,
they having those conversations because their friend is up here.
No, they having those conversations because Mark is deemed an academic and an intellectual, which you
well,
are.
He is, not deemed,
no,
he
no,
is.
no, I said what you are. So now it's, yo, why is he even there? Like Angela Rye said, yo, Mark.
Joe Budden don't necessarily have an issue with Umar, but the one talking, Ish got an issue with Umar. When Umar was up to him and Ish got into it. So look, it ain't even that. It ain't even about like having an issue with Umar or whatever. It's like he said, look, whatever y'all got going on the Native Land podcast, I don't give a, that's what y'all do over there. This is what we do over here. Why you can't have your space and I have my space? I think that's the situation he's saying. Like, I don't give a fuck what y'all do over there. That's what y'all do. And what I do over here is what I do. I feel him on that.
Just come home.
Angela Rye.
I mean, pardon me, Angela Rye said, Mark, just come home.
That's the other beef.
But then you go on to say how diverse Mark is. So I think that that's an insult because you don't put Mark in a box. Mark is home. Mark is a black man sitting in a room with black men that grew up in similar circumstances, albeit we wasn't all in the cult. You can't say he's
we all
not
had
home.
our own walks of life.
Yeah, dog. Like I just disagree with that shit. I look at
thank God there was a black-owned, independent media company there to pick up our good brother when he was misunderstood by other outlets.
Talk about it.
Why is that part not being said by pro-black Native Land people? I'm getting confused.
Yeah, that's a
Mark was a free agent. Y'all had a chance to bring him home.
And didn't.
You didn't.
That's a good point.
So don't sit up on your fucking platforms all pretentious as one of the Charlemites. That's how I know you. I know you as one of the Charlemites and get to saying what Mark should and shouldn't be doing. Please, please. If you didn't discuss this podcast before, if by your own admittance you know very little about it, shit, the woman Tiffany said at least 5 times that she don't give a fuck about these other opinions. All I'm asking is that you act like it.
Also, if you're...
I mean, basically that's it in a nutshell. Like, if you don't watch my show, don't try to jump into the fray now. Don't jump in it now because the good brother Marc Lamont Hill and me, you know what I'm saying, who I like he said that. When Marc Lamont Hill got fired from CNN, where was y'all at? Where was y'all at when Mark got fired from CNN? Y'all didn't pick him up. Free agent out there. I think he was out there for like a year. I don't know I think he had night school then, but even if he did, he started night school, started doing his own thing, but y'all didn't pick him up. Now all of a sudden, oh, come home, Mark. Come home. Come home. This is my home. I'm here. They brought me in. All y'all had the opportunity to bring me in, they did. They saw something in me. Y'all didn't. Now all of a sudden, y'all see something in me. Now all of a sudden, I'm an intellectual and all yada, yada, yada. He shouldn't be over there with Jay. What? But you want to talk about being vulnerable. When he was vulnerable, y'all didn't come to his aid. When he was down and out, y'all didn't come to his aid. Joe Budden stepped up to the plate, hired Marc Lamont Hill, put him on the show. Now the intellectual Marc Lamont Hill gets to speak to not only his people, but other people. His platform and his voice got bigger on one of the top rated, if not number one urban podcasts going on right now. Y'all should be applauding that Marc gets the opportunity to speak to other people outside of his echo chamber. See, when I come on here to do this YouTube stuff, I don't want to speak to just people who know comic books or know movies or know music. I want my voice to ring bells everywhere I go. I don't want to just speak in the echo chamber. I want the chat to have different opinions than mine. And we can talk about it and have good conversation, and maybe I can leave with something new and they can leave with something new. That's what you should want, Angela. Tell me, come home, Mark. You can come over here. Come home. I don't know about the other people. Mark is home. He right where he's supposed to be. Because y'all didn't pick him up. I just think that's trash, man. You can't do that. With so much division going on right now in the country, not just with black folks, but in the country. And y'all want to pull something like this? I don't know if y'all did it because y'all don't, you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't have the same views or the same, but why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? And yeah, it's being scared, but see, that's the thing. They all scared. If you saying that they was all scared, cool. Then stay scared and stay over there. Stay scared, stay over there. We got the homie Mark. We got him. We're going to take care of him real good over here. We got him. Y'all stay scared. Y'all stay over there. Be intellectuals over there and scary. We got Mark over here. And I remember when I met Mark, everybody got their stories. I met Mark A3C up in Atlanta. He was doing a panel. I asked him a question. Me and him, we went back and forth. Good convo, but we went back and forth. Got a little, you know what I'm saying? Elevated a little bit. But I held my own. I ain't scared of no doctor title. And I don't think nobody up there on that panel is scared of a doctor title, him being a, you know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't bring him in for the doctor. They brought him in for the Marc Lamont Hill, just being the homeboy. Just being somebody we can just chill and kick it with. And yeah, you might be a little bit more read up on socio-economical, political situations that's going on in the world. That's cool. But we still gonna talk about this music. We still gonna talk about the same stuff that we've been talking about before you got up here. And you're gonna join in. Not only are you gonna join in, you're gonna come up with some of the same stuff that we talk about. Because at the end of the day, before you were Dr. Marc Lamont Hill, you was Marc Lamont Hill from North Philly. You see how that worked, Angela? Before he was a doctor, he was a black man who went and got his hair cut at the barbershop, who sat there and talked with all the homies in the barbershop, was out there on the stoop talking all, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was that first. Pam said, I want to know what Melissa is, because that new woman is a woman for shit. Talking about Mona, I don't like Mona neither. I do want Mel back, but Mel gone, Pam. Mel is gone. Mel is gone. I don't know what happened. I wish we might get the answers one day, but Mel been gone now, what, about 2 months? Has it been about 2 months? She just disappeared off the show. They brought Mona in. She shouldn't. Let me say this. With Mona, I don't think she should be a full-time cast member. I think she should be like Imani. I think it's somebody better than Mona out there. I know they just want to fill the woman quota. I think that's why they do that. But I think it's other women out there who can fill that void. I don't like Flip neither too much, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it. Actually, tell you the truth, Pam, since they done brought Mona on and Mel has been out, it's hard for me to get through a whole episode like I used to. I used to just get through the episode. You know. Yeah, I wouldn't say she gives Mel energy. I think she's good. I think she's good with the home. You know what I'm saying? Like, she one of them who like can blend it. You know, she blends in, she fits in with the male energy, right? But at the same time, I don't think she doesn't exude the feminine energy. The bad thing about Mel was Mel just wouldn't talk. Mel wouldn't talk. Like, I think Joe brought Mel up there because you was a video vixen who should have some story, and Mel don't want to talk about those stories. Like, if I know that, you know, me and you don't ran in the same circles, I know you got these stories because I got the stories. And every time something like that come up, you got the hush mouth. It make for, you know what I'm saying? It make for bad TV. Make for bad TV. And they kind of did, you know, treat Mel a little, well, I ain't gonna say that because they be like, oh, they dogpile on Mel. I think everybody gets, you know, joked on or whatever. I do think Mel is real hypersensitive about certain things that maybe she shouldn't be hypersensitive about. But hey, but I thought it was working out. I don't know what the big deal is. I thought Mel and the whole cast and everything was working out, but you know, not the head injuries. That car crash, huh? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Wherever I know she got her own podcast, Hot and Bothered. Hopefully, I think it's doing well or whatever. And Joe Budden wasn't a part of that, so it was, you know, real easy split. But yeah, I don't like this, especially how they Joe Budden and the dumbing down of America. I don't. That's egregious to me. That is, especially based off one clip, that is bad. How you gonna use me in the title to say something like that? The Joe Budden podcast and the dumbing down of America. I mean, Joe Budden ain't Oprah, but damn. The dumbing down of America? I don't think you get dumber watching that show. He tried to be entertaining. He give you current events. They try to stay away from politics because of how you know, divisive it can be. So they try to stay away from politics. That's not their bag. I wouldn't want somebody who's not into politics to start talking politics. Because then y'all be saying, oh, Joe Budden's up there giving out misinformation. That's not what you're supposed to do. So which one is it? Pam say low key. They ain't never been too smart. Hey, you might be right about that, Pam. Might be right about that. Yeah, hit that like button. 11 more. Give me 11 more. Y'all give me 11 more likes, man. But nah, it's just crazy to do that. like Joe said, I don't speak on y'all podcast. Whether I like it or not, whether I watch it or not, I don't come up here and speak on Angela Rye. I don't come up here and speak on Tiffany Cross. I don't come up here and speak on Andrew Gillum. And even in this whole tirade, he showed them respect. He was like, I like Angela Rye for what she's doing. I like, all of them for what they're doing in their lane. I like y'all for that. Y'all stay there. But don't use me to prop y'all shit up. Especially if y'all don't know what I'm doing over here. Don't use me to prop y'all shit up if y'all don't know what I'm doing over here. Don't do that. Do not do that. Y'all keep fighting a good fight over there. Y'all keep educating the people with what's going on in politics and stuff like that. And I'm going to keep entertaining the people on y'all entertaining y'all way. I entertain them my way. And then the way Mark, you can come up here. I don't know about the rest of y'all. What? What's wrong with everybody else? And that's what I mean. They're trying to make it seem like Mark is better than everybody else up on that couch. I wish I would have got the clip where Ish starts talking about Flip, because her whole thing, she was talking bad about Flip too. Ish was like, Flip is a self-made multimillionaire. His kids are well-read, well-spoken, well-mannered. He's married, been married since like high school or something like that. No babies, no babies, mothers or nothing. Like, this is, you, to disrespect Flip in that manner. Joe Budden, cool. But to disrespect Flip in that manner because you don't know who he is, just because it was him against Mark, is disgusting. It's disgusting. You don't know how well Flip. No, he's not the most outspoken when it comes to being educated, but Flip ain't no dummy. He ain't stupid. Now he act ignorant at times, but I think he put on a show and that's how he made his money. But Flip is far from stupid. So to treat somebody like that, all because your homeboy is up there on this big stage that we are on, is disgusting. And the commentary on social media is they're siding with Joe. And normally people don't side with Joe, but they side with the Joe Budden podcast. Like, why would y'all do that? Why would y'all do that? He ain't said nothing bad about y'all. He ain't brought y'all up, didn't speak on. If y'all want to be brought up, to say that. Because this seemed real clickbaity. It seemed real clickbaity. Joe Budden podcast and the dumbing down of America. If that ain't clickbaity, somebody said that's some Adam 22 shit. Like, what are we doing? Y'all need some clicks and views? Y'all need some likes? Don't get it off, Joe. Like, come on, man. I don't like that. I do not like that. Don't get nothing off me, man. Especially if y'all are out here working. Do the work. Y'all out here working. I like the Native Land podcast. I listen to it. I don't agree with everything they say, but I listen to it. I'm subscribed. I give them they like. Y'all don't have to do that. Y'all got good guests that come on. Y'all got good material that y'all do. Y'all do the work. But see, this also goes back to what I was saying about Melissa. Y'all want the clicks and views, but don't do the stuff for the clicks and views. Because of respectability politics. Y'all want to, since y'all talk politics and all of this, y'all got to be one way. But I'm going to tell you this. If y'all got on the Native Land podcast and y'all let y'all hair down, and y'all got y'all little glass of Merlot or whatever wine y'all sip, or whatever drink y'all sip on, and y'all just act like we chilling, we at the house, we at the dinner table or wherever, playing, the spades table, and y'all just talk politics on some real nigga shit. I guarantee you'll get the clicks and likes. Angela, if y'all just chilled and quit trying to be prim and proper, if y'all just kicked it on the show, quit trying to act like y'all on CNN or whatever, y'all not that. We are in an independent media space. People are coming to us not just for the news, but they're coming to us to engage. They coming to us because they feel like we one of them. They let us into their living rooms through the TV, through their, on the phones and stuff, because they want to be a part. Act like you just kicking it. You don't have a bad show, but when y'all got to sit up there and act like you on CNN and play the respectability politic game, yeah. And now you got to get the shit off of Joe Budden. You got to get your views, your clicks and likes off Joe Budden. Do the work, man. Do the work. That's it. Just do the work. Do the work. Matter of fact, Angela Rye, you should go on the Joe Budden podcast and see what it's really about. Go up there and sit on the couch and kick it. You want to educate? You want to get your voice pushed out to a little bit more people? Go up there. Umar, go up there. Then they had the mayor of one of the ex-mayor of New York up there, of Jersey. I'm sorry, of Jersey. Like, they get people up there. They do interviews. They talk. But like he said, you rock with Charlemagne. And that could be it too. If you got beef, then just say, hey, look, I don't fuck with Joe Budden. And if you don't fuck with Joe Budden, don't talk about Joe Budden. See, that's the thing. If I don't fuck with you, I ain't gonna talk about you. Because you're not gonna get no clout over here, and I don't need clout from you since I don't fuck with you. It's real simple. Real simple. Real simple. But yeah, man, that's how I feel about it. That's my take. This is, we in the media space, right? And everybody got a lane. It's enough money out here. It's enough articles or issues that's going on for you to have your lane, for me to stay in my lane. I don't have to come in your lane. You don't have to come in my lane. If we do intersect somewhere, we can come through, make a little money, and keep it moving. But I think what Native Land Podcast did, I think that was messy. I think it was loud for no reason. It did make us have this conversation about being an intellectual versus not being, you know what I'm saying, on these podcasts. Can an intellectual go sit in the barbershop style podcast? And I'm gonna say, yeah, why can't Marc Lamont Hill be on the Joe Budden podcast? What makes it difficult for you to understand that it's okay? You should want that. You should want they don't treat him bad. They don't disrespect his doctorate or his education. Matter of fact, they look to him for it. They look to him for it. Now, Mark might go a little, be a little heavy-handed with certain things sometimes, and that's why you got that bad transition. But that's okay. We learn, we come back, we apologize, and we keep it moving, which is what they did. Dumbing down. Is this dumbing down or y'all just don't know how to just keep it real? Mark over there keeping it real. Joe Budden, they all keeping it real. Kikiing with each other, having a good time. And y'all talking about dumbing down. Maybe because y'all too busy not keeping it real. Y'all too busy trying to put on for big white media. Maybe that's what it is. Is that what it is? But what I know, man, I'm just a guy on YouTube who be talking about comic books, movies, and music. I ain't doing too much. I can get in my political bag too. I ain't gonna do it because I know that's not what this is for. Unless y'all want me to. Now, if y'all want me to talk politics, I get into it. I can go political real heavy. But that ain't what we're here for. You know what I'm saying? And that ain't what the Joe Budden podcast was meant to be. But I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all seem like y'all might like this 5 o'clock time slot. I don't know. Look, I'm still trying to see. I got to see what the schedule gonna be looking like. If I can do this 5 o'clock situation. Or around that time, 5:30, from 5:30 to 6 o'clock. If I can do it, I'll do it. You know, but I appreciate y'all, man. I really do. I really do. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, ring that bell so you know when I go live. If YouTube is pushing me out, or hopefully they push me out. I see the numbers was fairly high today. I appreciate y'all. And check me out later on. Blurred AF. Blurred AF. Give me some of them views, man. I know y'all run over to Dre. Give me some of them views, man. Y'all come participate in my chat, man. I'm just playing, man. Until then, y'all stay safe, man. Try to incorporate some tricky words into your vocabulary if you can. You know. Use at least one big word a week. Just take one, throw it, and just use it. Use it. But you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. Y'all take it easy and be safe. And like that, there we are. Audi 5G. Peace.
This concludes today's broadcast from Blues News. We hope you enjoyed tonight's programming and the time we've shared together.
Right. Always be about being authentic. Drop like that. Drop to what it was March, so that we added to the slate on the strength of an exception. So I think it's confident. I think that
Blues News is dedicated to bringing you the very best in pop culture, music, and conversation, serving viewers everywhere, every day. On behalf of our staff and crew, we thank you for watching. We'll return tomorrow with more entertainment, insight, and fun for the whole house gang. Good night and good luck.